All right, Most High in Christ. Shalom, shalom. Yahweh Shemel Shah Thumb, Yahweh Shemal Thun, Shemel Shah, in live ISUPK in Virginia, Priestly Captain Not Designed Shah. We continuing on what we were talking about previously, talking about marriage, talking about families, marriage, building, reestablishing our nation, building our community is very important. That's the key to everything in success. The key to the strength of our nation is repairing the families. You understand? Families make businesses. Businesses run economies. Economies is how you stabilize a neighborhood, stabilize a community, stabilize a city. Those things are made by families. Families is how you get the values that you take out into the cities, into the communities, into the towns, into the neighborhoods, into the schools, into the jobs. All of those things is what makes a people. The reputation of a nation makes a people, builds a people. Those are the important things, you understand, and are written, recorded here in the Bible. So, of course, we were talking about these last few classes about marriage, how it strengthens and develops. What were the Lord's intentions on marriage? Very important things that are so greatly lacking in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community that are under thorough attack, just like everything else, but are under serious attack to the point where you have generations coming up now that do not understand what God's purpose in a marriage is, don't understand what the purpose is and the responsibility to the future generations, to your family, to your society, to your nation. Those are foreign concepts when it comes to our people because of the damage that has been done to us under our oppressor here in this captivity, and because of what the Christian church has taught us, that race does not matter, when in fact, it is the most important thing ever. The race card is your key to your, if you forfeit the race card, you forfeit your right to your own nation, your own identity, your own language, your own land, your own God, your own military. China is a communist country. This is a very open, very blatant thing. It's not something that is hidden. America and China have been fighting proxy wars for decades. If you're familiar with the military, you're familiar with the Korean conflict, the Vietnam War. America and China have been fighting wars through other smaller countries all across continents for years. You understand? They're known as what's known as a proxy war. The war with Russia, the whole issue and beef with Cuba and communism is because America was afraid that their chief, strongest enemy at the time, which was Russia, the Soviet Republic or the USSR, whatever it was called at that time, would get a strong foothold in the Americas to be able to launch a campaign, to be able to get nuclear missiles, to have a power stability struggle so very close to their home. Of course, as America has been accustomed to fighting wars on other people's soil, which is why when 9/11 happened, a war finally reached America's soils. And that war that reached America's soils made them realize that, you understand? It's a lot. All right. So, like, yeah, give me just a moment. Made them realize that America is now under attack. That's why they took such extreme measures. Of course, who was responsible for the 9/11 terrorist attacks? You had Saudi Arabians were actually responsible. Saudi Arabia is actually a big friend of America. Lots of big oil tycoons, business dealings, you understand. They are America's friends. However, the Iraqis who were trained in Saudi Arabia, they needed a bully. Saddam Hussein fitted the bill. He was someplace that stability for the region, they were able to gain a foothold, wanted to make sure that this never happened again to their people. Like all of these things were said to say, because this is what it's talking about, how important your nation is, your reputation. And these are things that you learn from home. These are things that you learn from your parents, from your grandparents, which is why it's so important when the Lord gave us these laws, statutes, and commandments. He said, teach them diligently unto thy children, that thy children's children may hear and fear these things, and may observe to do all these commandments, that I be with your children and your children's children for generations and generations to come. Like, that's what he explained to us. That's what the Lord has been trying to teach us. Just like a good father has been trying to teach his children, son, you got to listen to me. Son, don't do this. Son, you can't behave this way. Son, talk like this. A man doesn't do this. Do it this way. Like, these are instructions that fathers give to their sons. And these are the things that create and continue on the lineage, that continue on the nation and the things. That's why we talk about our forefathers. Every nation of people can tell you about their forefathers except for ours. Because as a nation of people, our people do not know who our forefathers are. They don't know that the forefathers of Negroes are not Africans, not Nefertiti in Egypt and Kemet and Ra and Horus and all of these fake gods that the Egyptians made up, when in really Egypt was strong because they had us in slavery. Just like America is strong because they had us in slavery. You understand? All right, no sweat. All right. So that's what it is there. So where we going to start? As a matter of fact, where we ended up, hold, young man Kenny, you can hold Ecclesiasticus, the 6th chapter. And then I want to get that what the Lord was saying, because in where we finished off in Titus, the 2nd chapter, that was talking about women, because a woman has a very important role in every nation. It's extremely important, the role. And it can sometimes be underestimated, the great importance of the role that the Lord has given, that is required of a woman. And it's very important, the role of a man, to be able to manage the things that are going on. Right now, us as a nation, because of how terrible and weak our leaders are, have done such a poor job of being able to manage the situation, the families, the homes, the community, because our leaders have told us to rely on our oppressors instead of taking the responsibility themselves for what is going on. All right? Because they don't want the responsibility to fix it. They just want the money that comes from having the authority that is recognized by our oppressors. So start with Ecclesiasticus. You can go ahead and start in Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 and give me, let's see what verse it is. Verse 32. All right. Let me unmute you. Ecclesiasticus 6 and 32. I'm going to have young man Kenny, you go ahead and start. All right. And then I'm going to get you to take over at some point there, young man Darnell. All right. So go ahead, brother.
Con out of one con. Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 32. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught.
He says, son, if you will, if you have the will and desire, son, you will be taught. And you come in here in the ISUPK, you will be taught. You're going to learn. You understand? Just as a father teaches his son, that is how the Lord always intended for it to be set up. And it was set up for this reason, that the purpose for the Bible is to empower these fathers to be strong, to empower men to be strong. It's the exact opposite of the Christian church. And they look at a sister that is empowering her man to be strong, that is standing behind her man. They look at this type of sister as a weak sister, when in reality, that is a godly thing that is being done for a sister to empower her man, make her man strong, make all of these things strong, make sure he's built up good and proper, has the things he needs, whatever that brother needs, that sister is there. That's very important. And it talks about this in Proverbs. As a matter of fact, let me get it this way. In Proverbs, the 31st chapter, very important things. In this evil and wicked society that hates for a woman to be feminine, that despises a man being masculine, that wants to water down masculinity to such a point. I went on some government-sponsored website. You understand? And in some government-sponsored website, it talks about who's able to get something, who's able to qualify for this, who's able to do this. And then it says for women and persons. And the reason why it's saying for women and persons, because they don't want to say women and men. Because saying the term men offends the feminists as they talk that tear down the patriarchy, which is man historically being in control of something. But in reality, the only way they're able to have that luxury of feminism is because men have already fought and died in wars by the millions to create the world and the society that they're able to live in comfortably. That's full of roads and bridges and emergency trucks and firefighters and ambulance and militaries that are able to fight and risk their lives and die to create a stabilized society to where things can be in some sort of order and decency. That's why one of the first things the Lord gave us instructions to do coming out of Egypt, the Lord told Moses to establish the officership, to establish the proper order in the nation, to establish officers of tens and fifties and hundreds and thousands so that order can start to be maintained amongst our communities and cities. He established the priesthood. The priesthood, from this comes the prophets, so that our people can be taught these laws, statutes, and commandments from the Most High. Let me know if y'all still seeing me up on Instagram. Let me know if y'all seeing me there. Somebody said y'all couldn't see me, Salaki. We'll make sure Instagram is able to get up good and right. All right. Instagram, let me know if y'all seeing me. All right. Also, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on Rumble, you're watching somewhere, just let me know if you are not able to see, you're not able to see me or you're not able to hear me. Just let me know. And of course, you can type in your questions so we'll be able to see it. It's like Twitter went dark there. Okay, so like we're going to get this back up here. Twitter, bear with me just a moment. Hey, shalom, Akim. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Barakatham. Shalom, sisters. Yahweh Shemal Athan Bashim Yahweh Shah. All right. All right, Most High in Christ. Y'all should be able to see and hear everything clearly. Of course, just let me know if you're seeing me talking, but you don't hear me. Just let me know. All right. So this is what he's talking about here in this book of wisdom in Ecclesiasticus, because masculinity is under attack. The only way that things are able to get out of order is if masculinity is removed from the proper position that the Lord put it in. And the Christian church is chiefly responsible for making sure that masculinity went so undefended and so attacked because of their cohesion with the feminist movement. And feminism and promoting a woman to be in charge over everything, promoting a woman to leave her man. Of course, everybody now should be familiar with T.D. Jakes, Woman, Thou Art Loose. You understand? There's a woman by the name of Margaret Sanger. That she had the eugenicist movement. It was the same thing that the Nazis did. She had something that she worked with the United States government on called the Negro Project. And the Negro Project was done because it was to decrease the amount of Negroes that are born. From the Margaret Sanger projects, which Hillary Clinton received an award for, and Martin Luther King also received an award for, because without their works, the great position that Planned Parenthood, which is the crowning achievement of the Negro Project, of that eugenicist movement, could not have come to fruition the way that she wanted, having abortion clinics in the Black community. For those of you that do not know, there was a court case called Roe versus Wade, a famous abortion case, you understand, between Roe and Wade. I believe her name was Abby Roe and someone Wade, and it said that abortions should be legalized. And since Roe versus Wade, just a little bit sidebar about it, as people just finished foolishly celebrating Martin Luther King, who him and that entire civil rights movement were traitors that were loyal to the U.S. government and did not have Black people's best interests at heart. They were federal agents that worked the United States government to help do what was best for America, which was absolutely detrimental to the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. You understand? For those of you that do not know, the Native American and Hispanic communities have always been tied to the Black community. We were always together. The No Negro sign in areas that had so-called Hispanics and Native Americans said no Negroes, no dogs, no Puerto Ricans, no Mexicans, no Indians. That's what the sign says. Of course, after the 1800s Andrew Jackson, who was the U.S. president around that time, they had the Indian Removal Act, where they forced the tribes, the Native American tribes, to move from their good lands in the Carolinas and Georgia on the East Coast to have them march through what is known as the Trail of Tears, which was a terrible trek through the winter that many brothers and sisters died, starved to death, froze to death. You understand, heart attacks, absolutely horrible, to walk from the East Coast in the warm, wonderful weathers of the Georgias and the Carolinas all throughout the winter to the Midwest to reach reservations in Oklahoma. Now, of course, if you are raised in race doesn't matter, color doesn't matter, we're all the same, God bless America, you nor your children will ever care about the many of your brothers and sisters that died, that were murdered, that were abused, and you will have no sense of justice, which is a huge problem we have amongst our people, which is why we are able to murder our babies with abortions, why brothers and sisters are able to murder each other, why we're able to leave each other and our families are destroyed, our marriages fall apart. If you're a teacher in the school system, you will notice that most of the time when you go to do something with the parents, it's usually just the mother there by herself, because that is a curse from the Most High that came along with Martin Luther King's integration, that our families were destroyed. That is why we are talking about families and talking about marriage and talking about all of these things, because it is all so very closely knit and interconnected together that without fixing this thing at the foundational level, you can't fix any of the other problems. Everybody understand? All right. So now this is what this father is teaching to his son. That's why most of the Bible is wisdom from a father teaching his son. You don't see a lot of things about a father teaching his daughter, but there are many things in the Bible where he's telling his son, if you have a daughter, this is what you look for when you're dealing with your daughter. This is what you look for when dealing with your wife. This is how you choose a wife. This is how you handle these different things. As our society destroyed, the Lord rose up the prophets to set up schools, to reinstill these same values and things that fathers traditionally would be teaching their sons, so that their sons could put everything back in order. Of course, the Christian church has taken the Bible and used it to assault masculinity to the point where homosexuals, even though God in the Bible said that he does not want you to sing songs to him, and in his anger he put us in slavery, and we should not be singing songs to him in the land of our captivity. He said this, of course, many thousands of years ago, that the Christian church completely ignores, like dunking people in water, celebrating birthdays, putting up trees in your house for so-called Christmas, all of the many other things that they've said to ignore, which is literally the heritage that a good father would teach his children how to continue that family name and legacy. The Bible is not a book about religion. It is a book about a father teaching his sons how to build his family. That's what the Most High did to Adam. That's what Adam tried to instill into his sons. That's what Noah taught to his sons. That is why the Lord separated Abraham from everyone else, to reestablish God's family on the planet Earth, which today are these 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. So now that we've came a full circle back to where we are, I want you to go ahead and read Ecclesiasticus that this brother is teaching to his sons. All right. So give me chapter 6 and verse 33. So like I may have muted you, was getting some feedback. Okay, try now, brother. Go ahead.
Okay, Ecclesiasticus chapter 6, verse 33. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding.
All right. He said, if you love to hear, you're going to get understanding. I'm going to teach you. So much in our lives, we've been raised in places and environments that are absent of the Lord's knowledge. You understand? That's why it's so important. Christ rose up his disciples that said, go into the highways and byways and go and get the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Not every single brother and sister. That's not the instructions that he gave. He said, you bid them to come and tell them that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, so that brothers and sisters, both young and old, good and bad, all tribes, were supposed to come now so that we can rebuild this nation. All right. Those were the orders that Christ gave. You understand? And we are still under those exact same orders. All right. So keep going.
And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise.
If you listen your ear to this counsel that you're going to get, you will be a wise man. This is the same thing the Lord instructed Moses to say to the children of Israel. All these words, every nation will hear these laws and these statutes and say, this is a wise people. Their God is very close to them. Why would they say that? Because the gods that the other nations worship is some stone, some rock, some picture, some painting, some animal that will die and defecate and live and die the way that they do. They worship something and not the Most High power that actually controls the weather and curses and life and death and plagues and good and evil. That is our heritage, to be the children of the one true living God. And these are our instructions. You understand? So keep going.
Verse 34. Stand in the multitude of the elders.
Stand in the multitude of the elders, many elders. You understand? And of course, the elders is not talking about aged men. You understand? It's not talking about your age because you're 70, because you're 80. There was a time that your age meant that you had wisdom, meant that you had know-how, you had ability, you had great possessions and things, and were able to instruct people. To a degree, our people have that, but for the most part, the things that the aged were supposed to teach the next generation coming after them, after about integration, all of that stopped. You understand? Integration made these mandatory schoolings where now your uncles, your cousins, and your fathers were not educating you. Now you are forced by the government to send your kids to school with absolute strangers for about 10 hours a day, and God knows what they're doing and what they're teaching to your children. Once you get them back, you got to do damage control to find out what if they've been teaching your kids all day that they doing and saying things you don't know any damn thing about. Because once again, instead of us working with and for each other like we did before integration, or getting enough working for our oppressors to start and build our own things, you understand, we end up slaving for our oppressor the majority of the day, sitting in his traffic, the majority of the day, the majority of the night. Before you know it, you're back home in time to fall asleep, just to get up and shower half asleep, get a bunch of coffee, get back on the road and slave again. Like that all came from not following the wisdom that the Lord set up. Just as a sidebar, so that everybody can understand why exactly I'm saying these things. The things that run a city and a community, who knows what is in a city to make it a city? Who has an idea? Let's just see if anybody knows real quick. And if not, I'll give up some things. What makes a city? What makes a town where people can live there? People can live there, can kind of function on its own. What is needed to make those things? Who has some ideas? All right. Nobody knows. Nobody know how to make a town or a city. I understand. I understand. All right. Do I have any masons in here? Brick masons. People that work the land, know how to work bricks, do construction, anything. All right. I got any? All right. Let's see. Anybody grew up on a farm? Any farmers in here? Any country boys in here? No, y'all look like good city folk. Any country folk in here? You understand? Anybody? Nothing. All right. I see Esau closed his city down. It's gonna turn into the WWF in these cities. It's gonna be Roman Reigns and The Rock all over once Esau's stores close down. Well, let me give y'all some things then, since nobody seems to know, and that's fine. But Esau, the other nations of people, they know what it takes to make a city, to make a village. And when that village accumulates enough things and enough people working together, where they can function together with rules, with laws, with morals, with families, they can take that village and grow that village to make it a town. And that town can be known for something, because you come to this town, there's something in this town. You understand? They produce something. They have things that the surrounding areas or people need. Over time, people will come to that town for something. They'll come to get something. If there's medicine in that town, I believe I went over this in one of the classes before. If there's medication in that town, they'll come to that town for medicine. Before you know it, the things that that town produce will be in demand in other places. And people will either come and bring their resources to you to grow your area that has the medical know-how or things that they need, or they will offer you to come to their town to teach other people those skills that you have. So much of the skills and things that we have had as a people that was supposed to only stay with us ended up going to the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Koreans, the East Indians, the Africans, the Arabs. Everyone was able to come and study and learn from us, just like the oppressor did. That's how they learned our music, our dancing, all of that boxing that you see now. This is how people used to box. Old Europeans, if you ever watched those old boxing shows from Europe back in the 20s and the 19s or something before that, this is how they did their boxing, just like this here. Chin up in the air, fists out way in front of them. That's what they did. Well, they had brothers, and when we boxed, we did something different. We started to get out of the way of the punches, unlike two white men having a hockey fight standing in front of each other. So they swinging and moving, they missing. Next thing you know, they get an uppercut, they knocked out. Now everybody's doing the Philly shell, if you know something about boxing. Everybody's squaring up with your guards up and your chin down. And sometimes dancing was just, the little river dance. White people kick their foot back and forth, kind of like the Pop Smoke thing, but not as much flavor as you see now. Now, dancing is all kind of hip movement and twirling and slide to the left and back and right and bachata and swerving. All of these things we were doing. The other nations that people learned from us used it, exploited it, and made something important for themselves. This is another reason why it's important to not join another nation of people. The secret things that we had and we did, they were able to come and learn. There's a series we teach on this channel in ISUPK, Virginia, and No Cowards, Richmond, called The Former of All Things, where we go into the inventions that our people created. There's a brother, his name was Nathan Green, known as Uncle Nearest. He now, of course, has his own brand, but for those of you brothers that drink, you understand, or are familiar with alcohol, whether you drink or not, because this is a historical thing, Jack Daniels whiskey, Lynchburg, Tennessee, that formula that Jack Daniels made, he learned from that former slave, Nathan Green. This was something that we had as a people because we were always known as brewers. We always made our own wine, our own strong, our own liquor. All of those things are in the Bible. We were a people that did these things. Of course, once the other nations are able to observe us and see how trash their societies are and how much more sense it does to unite their people to have rules as opposed to everybody just running around naked, taking dumps in the goddamn drinking water, spreading cholera and hepatitis everywhere, then they decide to make a designated place where everyone takes a dump instead of just pulling your pants down and dumping everywhere. And before you know it, it's flies and feces and mess and disease. Well, that is how our oppressors lived in Europe. That's why when they came to the New World, they spread a bunch of diseases that killed the Native Americans, made everybody sick, brought rats, brought plagues, tuberculosis, hepatitis, and diseases continued to evolve everywhere that they went because that was the heritage of their family. Black slaves taught them to bathe and wash every day, and that cut down on all their sicknesses and diseases as much as possible because they're cavemen. That's what Caucasian means. It means cave dweller. But these things are important that a father would teach to his son so that his son will have some wisdom, something besides learning how to throw a ball, how to bounce, how to roll a blunt, how to just live and chase tails, some important things that a father would put into his son's mind because, son, you have a grave responsibility that is coming up as you grow, that is going to come up as you take wives, as you become in charge of what I have, as you become in charge of the relationships, as you continue my reputation that is going to be shown to the other nations of people, as you continue the reputation with our nation so that people can entrust you to continue these businesses and things and cities and towns that I have started. Like all of these things are to put some sort of conscience in our people's mind, as you're not just here, I'm going to do me, I'm an individual. You are a part of a nation. You are a part of a family. We have rules. Our God expects this from us. Our people expect this. You understand? So he's instilling a sense of what is important to his son. Our people these days don't have things coming from a father that is building a nation, that is thinking about what is best for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The things that we learn is best for us come from the other nations of people, which is really what's best for them. All right. So keep going there.
Con out of one con. Verse 34. Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise.
Him that is wise, you get close to him. You find a man of understanding. That's what the scripture said. If thou findest a man of understanding, wear out the doors of his steps. Get to him continuously. Wisdom is so very difficult to come by. It's very important. That's exactly what the scripture is going to say. So, Lucky, I got ahead of it. Keep going.
Con out of one con. Verse 35. Be willing to hear every godly discourse.
All right. Keep going.
And let not the parables of understanding escape thee. Verse 36. And if thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him.
Get him time after time after time. Get to him. Get where he is so you can learn something. Exactly. You type that in. All right. That's correct. It's just showing up. But that's what it takes to make a city. Homes, food, businesses. You develop those businesses by wealth and resources that you have. This is what a man of understanding teaches his people. There's so many laws in the Bible about how to deal with your cattle. You all remember the laws that we went over talking about the cattle. If your ox that you're supposed to have tied up accidentally tramples somebody or stabs them with their horns, you are held responsible. This is not supposed to happen. You understand? You can be penalized and ultimately punished to lose your life behind not properly securing your possessions. You understand? So this is, along the lines of it. But you have a city. You got resources. You got water. There's water here. They don't have water over there. But if you are able to make a deal, then you are able to have water that everyone needs. And if you have water, what can you do with that water? You can have crops. You can grow crops. And people who don't have water cannot grow their own food. They can't raise animals without water. They can't have the grass to feed the animals. They can't have the crops to eat. They will suffer and starve. But if you have crops and land and grass and animals, you can make clothes, you can make coats, you can make so many things. And the skills to build, the skills to make homes and houses, which seems like something that it can be easily taken for granted now. But you understand the ability to start, if everyone starts from nothing, and then you and your sons are able to build houses, you are in high demand. Anything of value that they have, they will gladly give it to you to get from sleeping under leaves, to get bricks, straw, mortar, doors. The winter's coming. The heat's coming. Not to mention all the inventions that brothers have made to change the world. You understand? So this is what he's explaining. Get to a man of understanding. All right? Man is supposed to have understanding. Man is supposed to know these things. Men are supposed to have wisdom and understanding how to deal with these things. That's why it's imperative that every Black, Hispanic, Native American brother and sister get into the ISUPK. You understand? To get this very important life and death wisdom, you understand that if you listen to it and incline your ear to it, like the Lord was saying, then you'll have a great thing there. All right? So, what was that? All right, any more on that? Let's go from there to hey, all right, was there any more on that scripture?
Con out of one con.
All right, go ahead, finish it out, please.
And let thy foot wear the steps of his door.
Wear his door out. Of course, We had a physical school. You would physically be coming there right now. These are the steps of the door. Metaphorically, you are getting to class. Get to him. Learn from him. If this brother has some wisdom and you are trying to be a plumber, this is how things used to be taught in our community. Before we integrated, of course, some uncle, some great cousin, somebody, some relative would be a plumber. He would teach other young brothers to be plumbers. And before you know it, that was your profession. Before a white man got involved in black businesses, and now you have to pay thousands of dollars to a white man to go to school to learn something that Uncle Rollo has been teaching everybody for the last 2-3 generations since his daddy taught him. Same thing with being a mechanic. And even still, after you go to school, you actually learn how to do what you went to school from, usually from someone who's already doing the thing. That's how you actually learn how to do it. Someone who reads a book can read the book very well, but you need an actual driver to teach you how to drive. You understand? Certain things you have to be able to do them, and this was a heritage that was passed down to our people. All right. So now go to, let's see. We covered that, Titus 2 and 3. We did that the last class. Give me Jeremiah chapter 3. Young man Darnell, give me Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1. You understand? All right. Give me Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1. And then young man Kenny, hold me Exodus chapter 22 and verse 16.
Con out of 1,000.
All right. Con. Let me know when you got it, brother.
Con out of Con. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him.
Right. They say if a man puts away his wife, what does it mean to put away his wife? If a man puts away his wife, that means he gives her, he says that this is no longer my woman. Of course, that is slang, just like so much of the Bible is written in slang. That's how we talk. The whole Bible is written in slang. That's why the most people who learn the Bible from someone who was taught by our oppressor, the Bible doesn't make sense. So just think, if a man put away his wife, he put her away, meaning if he decides that she's no longer his wife, he doesn't want her anymore. He's going to give some explanation about what is going on. Keep going.
And she go from him.
She leaves him. She's gone. He puts her away. She leaves him. Keep going.
And become another man's.
She becomes another man. How does a woman become another man? How does she belong to another man? Sex. She goes from her man and she goes to have sex with another man. Keep going.
Shall he return unto her again?
Now that she's left him, he put her away. She went and had sex with another man, and now he's asking a question. Said, shall she return to him? Meaning she's going to leave her man. She's going to leave him. He's going to put her away. She now goes and has sex with another man. Is she supposed to turn around now and take her back? Like, this is a question here that's put into the Bible. She done went and had Jada Pinkett went out and had an entanglement with that little child, August Alsina, so that she could feel real good, which is what she told Will Smith, man. Is he supposed to take her back after this? Like, the Lord is stepping in here. There's a lot of confusion over what the Lord expects and what he accepts and what he does not. All right. So keep going.
Shall not this land be greatly polluted?
You want to read that like a question. You got that question mark in there. Read it like it's a question, because the Lord is asking a question. So read it one more time, brother. Read it like a question. All right.
Shall not this land be greatly polluted?
You're like, damn, she going to leave you and go be with another man. and she with him and dealing with him and having sex with him, and then you gonna turn around and you gonna take her back? Is not that land greatly polluted? Like he's using the metaphor, of course. He's saying this land, you gonna take her back like this brother wasn't just having sex with this woman. You understand? That's not your woman. You can't go now and take this woman back and you start having sex with her again. That land is polluted. That belongs to him now, brother. You cannot go back and rekindle your relationship. I was wrong and all of this old kind of R&B nonsense, soap opera. No, that's his woman up. You cannot go back and have sex with that woman. She went and been with somebody else. That is not your wife. That is not your woman. That land is greatly polluted. You're going to get something from that polluted land having sex with another brother's woman. Like the Lord has these things written in here in metaphors to learn. You cannot have sex with somebody else's woman. It is vital and important to make sure that if you are dealing with some sister, that she does not have a man. This is why our communities are filled with all kinds of STDs and diseases that are claiming everyone's life. You understand? Very important things to understand. The Bible is not magic. This is wisdom that the Lord is trying to teach the nation as a good father teaches his sons, so that a good father trains his sons to be good fathers, that raises their daughters to be good wives and good mothers and good sisters. And this is how everything stays solid as a nation. All right, so keep going.
But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers.
The Lord is equating this to a man that leaves a woman. And now this woman go and be with somebody else. Of course, he's equating this. He's saying the nation of Israel is the Lord's bride, so to speak. The Lord was a husband, a father. No, not a father, but a husband in this metaphor unto the nation of Israel. He led our nation out. He protected the nation. He guided the nation. He corrected the nation. He made sure that the danger that was facing the nation was removed. This is what was done. This is what the Lord did. That's why he said, even though I was a husband unto them, they turned on me. The Lord is equating this to our people serving the other gods. That's why he said, you've whored on me. Serving Islam and Christianity and Mother's Day, which is the worship of the goddess Maya. That's why it's in the month of May. You understand? That's the worship of the female deity. And Earth Day, worshiping Gaia, which is the sky goddess, or you hear people talk about so-called Mother Earth. All of these things, of course, are Greco-Roman names translated to English that came from gods that the Egyptians worship, that came from gods that the Babylonians worship. All of the Trinity and the Virgin giving birth to a child, none of that is actually what's in the Bible. In reality, Joseph had sex with Mary. That's how Mary ended up pregnant with Christ. Joseph, after Christ was born, continued to wear Mary's tail out. Mary and Joseph had about 5 kids. Who here knew that Jesus Christ had about 5 brothers and sisters? Who knew that? Raise your hand if you knew that. Who knew that? All these years in the Christian church, the Christian preacher talk about the Virgin Mary, the Virgin Mary. Mary was not no virgin. You understand? Joseph had sex with Mary. Mary is no longer a virgin, which means a young woman of marriageable age. That's all that means. They had 5 kids. Salome, Joseph, tons of kids. You understand? A whole family that the Christian church never even bothers to mention, while they are so busy telling everyone to worship Mary, which is really the worship of Maya, which is really the worship of the sky goddess. Of course, it's Diana in the Bible, known as the Queen of Heaven. That's why everybody's worshiping her, the blessed, sacred mother of all blessed, sacred vaginas on the whole goddamn planet. All of that ties into things that's way older than Christianity. None of it has anything to do with what's actually in the Bible, but these are important things. That's why the Lord said, if you find a man of wisdom, put these in your spirit instead of fairy tales like naked babies with wings and you lose a tooth. You put it under your pillow. Your mother gives you a damn quarter. All kind of nonsense like that Christianity teaches us to continue the heritage of pagans' customs. You understand? And the Lord wants to break us off from celebrating those things so that we can celebrate Purim like we're going to do in March, so that we can celebrate the Passover like we're going to do in April, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and the Feast of Tabernacles, and the Day of Atonement, and the memorial blowing of trumpets. We have to sever our ties with the customs of the other nations of people, which is what has been taught all throughout the Bible. And that is also a part where the Lord is saying, thou hast whored on me. Just like a man would not go and take back some woman that had been having sex with this brother. She'd had sex with him, doing all kind of things with him like a man is supposed to do with his woman, and then turn around and get through with him and turn around and come back to you. You understand? Like that's what the Lord is equating it to. How much shame the Lord had to endure as our people whored on him and joined to Islam and Christianity and democracy and shaving your head and dreadlocks and smoking weed and all kind of things that was not the heritage that the Father had built and established to pass down to his son. All right? Just so everybody can understand what's being said. All right? So keep going.
Yet return again to me, saith the Lord.
He said, you played the harlot with many lovers. That's what all these religions are, all those customs and things that I named. That's what the Lord equates it to. You played the harlot with many lovers. You understand? All right. So you got verse 2. Let me get
Out of my tongue.
Go ahead, brother.
Jeremiah 3, verse 2. Lift up thine eyes into the high places.
All right. That's the end on that. All right. No sweat. I need any more of that. Ate the water, brother. Take me to Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 27. All right. Let's go to Proverbs 23 and 27. And the other scripture that I called in Exodus chapter 22 and 16, brother, you got that? All right. Let me get 22 and 16, brother. I had hold of that. Go ahead.
Okay, Exodus chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed.
A maid just means a woman. In the Bible, to say you had a man child or a maid child. That's a very old term, old Quaker English thing. A maid child just means that this child is a female. It's saying a maid child, it just means she's a woman. All right? That's where that term comes from. You understand? It's a woman. If a man entice a maid, he entice a woman. Just like in English, you would say a woman, girl, a young thing, a tenderoni, a woman, a sister, a senorita, a mommy, all any kind of slang. The whole Bible is written in slang. That's all it's saying. If a man entices her mean he's spitting game. He telling her, listen, you understand? I'm what you looking for. You need a man, I'm your man. That's what you're looking for. Got his gold, he's spitting right, smelling right. Whatever he tells to her is different for each brother. Man, she's enticed. He's all in her head, and now she's thinking, all right, let's go. A man entice a maid. Keep going.
Con out of one con. And lie with her.
And lie with her. He has sex with her. That's what it means to lie with her. All right. Keep going.
He shall surely endow her to be his wife.
Guaranteed. This is written several times in many different chapters all throughout the law. He shall surely endow her to be his wife. What does it mean to endow her? It's going to tell you. Read the next scripture. What does that mean to endow her? All right, keep going.
Come, verse 17. If her father utterly refused to give her unto him.
If her father do what?
Utterly refused to give her to him.
Exactly, brother. Why is it saying he's going to endow her? But if the father utterly refused, what does this have to do with the father? Who knows? Why is the father even mentioning? The previous scripture was just her and the brother. They have sex. He has to endow her to be his wife. Young man that was reading, go ahead, brother. Give it a shot.
Con, not a one con. He was supposed to go to the father and set something up with the father as far as, any type of agreement or payment for his daughter before he had sex with her.
That's correct. And the Jews are black. That's what's in the Bible. The Jews are black, Hispanic, and Native American. Who here went and talked to the father You understand? Most brothers are not going and talking to their father. That's what's supposed to happen. But the Bible is not magic. You understand? The Bible is not magic. These are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans you're talking about. The Bible is not made of magic. So if you don't have laws and rules to govern it, you will have an entire society that brothers is just sneaking out of the window, hiding in closets and up underneath the beds, and going about their business afterwards. This is why that order is so very important there. He's endowing her because he was supposed to go to the father. All right. Most brothers do not go to the father. Most of our nation does not have fathers. But this is what's supposed to happen, and how we repair our society to get our minds back to our ancient culture that every other nation of people is still doing their ancient culture. The same Greeks and Romans call themselves American today. But in this American society, they still adhere to their Greco-Roman culture. They still adhere to worshiping their shamrocks and good luck. That's why you got the lottery symbols, worshiping the mother god. That's your symbol on your Starbucks coffee. That's what your symbol on your logos. They're still worshiping their gods. They're still saying good luck, which is one of their Greek goddesses. Good luck and lucky, all of those things, all of their customs, they're still keeping. You understand? We have to get back to keeping our customs, to put our nation back in order. Endow her to be the wife, to be his wife. That means you pay the dowry to the father. That's how the father is going to find out. In most cases, the father is not going to know that his daughter is having sex. The school says that he doesn't have to know. They can give abortion pills, Plan B pills, condoms, contraceptives. Nobody has to tell the parents. Well, how the Lord has it set up, the father is supposed to be in charge of making the decisions, because if you let the women decide, everybody's gonna be in child support court and divorce court and domestic court, because the woman has made a poor decision. And we know that she's made a poor decision even by her own standards in most cases, because she is the one that is filing for the divorces in this society, damn near 70 to 80%. So she's finding a man that she's choosing on her own. She's laying with him. She's dealing with him. She's making kids with him. Then she decides she don't want to do this no more. You understand? Like, these things are in place to prevent our society from being the way that it is now, because the Lord intends for this to be something permanent. All right? So that when this permanent relationship that you've established, now, unlike your job, which you can lose. Who here has ever lost a vehicle before, lost a job before? Anybody ever lost to slavery before? Anybody? Everybody's still at the first slavery they've had since they started slaving at 14, 15, 13 years old. Everybody still works at the same slavery. Y'all just type in. We got a class full of people. Y'all type in if y'all have ever lost to slavery before, or is everybody still at the same slavery when they first started at? Anybody ever lost to slavery? Just real quick, y'all type it in. You understand? But you can lose a job. You can lose a slavery. Has anybody ever moved? Is everybody still living at the same house that they were born in when they came from the hospital? Everybody stay in that same apartment? Absolutely not. You can lose a house. You can lose a job. You can lose your car. You can lose your slavery. You can outgrow your clothes. Eventually, your hair might start falling out. You won't have that thick braids anymore. You can lose things. Just to have a baby, your figure might change. You might not ever get that figure back. What was tight and right and strong and fit and slim, you might never get those curves back the way you had it before. Things get lost all the time. There are a few things in life that are permanent. This is one thing that you are supposed to build on that is permanent, that can never be broken, that can never, unlike everything else in your life, you can lose. This is something that you create with another person that you are never, ever going to lose until one of you die. This is how the Lord intends for this to be. Now that I know that unlike the previous jobs and cars and hairstyles and everything else that I've ever had, that I've outgrown, that is broken, been stolen or taken away, this is something permanent that I can build the rest of my life on. You understand? So now, whatever business and things that we are going to do, because the Lord intends for this to be permanent, we now create things. That's why when you have a child, even though in this evil society they say sex is not marriage, that birth certificate is a business contract. You understand? You put your name, your date of birth, your social security number, half on this baby, you have a business agreement. And if our oppressor decides that you are not holding up the end of the agreement to the woman's satisfaction, she will come and demand something from the business arrangement that you did not know was a business arrangement. Like, this is how, there's no way to get around what the Lord has set up. It seems like there might be a way to get around it, but it's really not. You understand? Like, if you live with someone, you in the house, you living with someone, they have something, even though they say that sex is not marriage, they have something called common law marriage. Why are they calling it common law marriage? Because they assume that if you are living together after a certain number of days, 28, 30 something days, something like that, that this is now considered some sort of agreement that you cannot just up and break away and decide, I don't want to do this anymore. There are rights. You have rights to each other. It's supposed to be this way because the Lord intended for it to be permanent, no matter how much condoms, no matter how much of whatever, no matter how much the church and ring and piece of paper, how many Disney movies. This is something that God, who created heaven and earth, light and darkness, outer space and the earth, intended to be absolutely permanent, and it is not supposed to be broken or taken lightly. Now, because of this, the Lord is who assigns life. Now, from this permanent union that you have with this man and this woman, new people born, you continue family lineage. That's more proof that you've made something. Before, there were no people. It was just, well, you here and she there. And you met her and you start talking to Kiki, and Kiki start talking to Lamont, and Lamont start talking to what's her name, and before you know it, now there's a little Lamont. And then there's a Mike, there's another baby. Then there's Nisha and Nia and Maria. And all of that, next thing you know, now you're making people. Now your family is continuing, your heritage is continuing. The Bible says children are an heritage from the Lord. And a part of building and establishing your heritage, which is why this brother's talking to his son, saying these important lessons to my son. Son, you got to learn something about women. Kings put their entire empire behind women. Wars started behind women, son. You got a daughter, make sure you instill values into your daughter. We're going to get into all of those things here because these are important things that our society is so very much lacking. That this is what God is actually talking about in the Bible, as opposed to what we have been taught and told about the Bible versus what's actually inside of it. All right. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and move you. You can come back in. So if you in there, young man, you're not linked up there, young man Nate. So just let me know if you in there. All right. I see you up there, but you're not there. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe you jammed up. You might need to come out and come back in. All right. All right. So we went over that. Finish that scripture that you're reading, verse 17, brother that was reading.
God, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins.
Right. You got to pay money. That money is important because that father just lost something. That daughter is helping that father. When Jacob went to take his wife, he went to go and get a wife from Laban, was his own people. He came to get a wife from there. His daughter was there tending to the sheep. That sheep is wealth. You eat meat, that's sheep you eat. You take that wool from that sheep, you spin that wool thin, that's your clothes. Who here is not wearing clothes? Everybody got clothes on, right? Well, that you use sheep to make clothes. You understand? That's everybody wearing clothes, and drawers and socks and bras and shirts, tank tops, wife beaters. That stuff comes from sheep. You understand? It comes from the skin, the leather that you get from sheep and bull and goats. So those animals are providing meat, which everybody is going to eat. They provide clothing, which everybody's going to wear. That's wealth. She is helping keep that father in business with that wealth. She's feeding those animals. She's tending to the fields. And then one day you come holler at her when she go to the market. And next thing you know, you have sex with her now and she's married to you. And this father did not work out an arrangement to get something from you before you are taking wealth and a possession from him that he is going to need to maintain what he has for his family, whether it be his land, taking care of the animals, the sheep, whether she's someone working in the business, selling garments, things like that. It may seem strange, but you have to remember, names, Fruit of the Loom, Louis Vuitton, Yves Saint Laurent, all your fashion designers, Gucci, Prada, all of these people, they have people that are working to sew these clothes together. And they're working for them because they have a name that is made. Because of whatever they've done, they put that family on the map. And now other people whose families are not as big and successful, they are coming to work for this family. And that wealth is going to them and everybody else gets a job. This is how you think of society. That's why we have these rules and things here. That's why he owes this father. Now, instead of showing up to help work with the sheep, guess what she's doing now? She's not going to be here working at the sheep here. You and her have started a family to become one flesh. Now she's taking her instructions from you. She's not taking them from the father anymore because she is now in possession of her husband. Like, this is brotherhood. This is to understand how things are supposed to properly function and to understand the consequences of your action. It's not just how it affects you. Suppose you get pregnant, you can't take care of the kid. Somebody has to take care of the baby. Somebody has to feed the baby. Somebody has to help the sister during her pregnancy. Check the trimesters. What's going on? Did she develop some sort of medical condition as her body changes to start to deal with this baby? All of these things now come into play, which most of our people have zero consideration about when they start choosing someone to have sex with, that the Lord says is marriage. It is literally probably the most important decision you ever make in your life is starting a family. Who you are going to permanently join yourself to, that unlike your car, your clothes, your job, your everything else that you've ever lost in your life, this is something you cannot part from, according to God. All right. Now imagine if this was taught to young brothers and sisters versus, once when you finish, having all your fun, you're going to give somebody a ring and a piece of paper, and then a Disney movie just breaks out. Aladdin takes over for you. You understand? Like, this is the wisdom that this father is explaining to his sons that the Lord have been trying to teach to us. Everybody follow me? Let me know if y'all not following. Y'all follow me? All right, Christ. All right. So let's see from here. This is what he's saying. Let's get that other one. So there. Did you finish 17, correct?
One con.
All right, Most High Christ. Give me, take me to, same brother, take me to Ecclesiasticus chapter 25 and verse, chapter 25, verse 16. Chapter 25 and verse 16. Take me there.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, verse 16. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman.
No. He said, I'd rather dwell with a lion, with a dragon. The dragon is a very dangerous animal, very dangerous creature. Many dragons are poisonous. Dragons are real, not the things that's breathing fire flying around, but dragons are a real creature. He said, I'd rather live with that than to keep house with a wicked woman. For those of you that don't know, an evil woman literally shortens your life. Anybody ever met some woman that's always hollering and screaming and hollering and screaming and yelling? But those things, not only they're bad for your nerves and things like that, that actually destroys people. Too much stress and trauma as a child damages your organs. Even somebody yelling and hollering and all kind of things like that, and arguing, bickering, going back and forth, that literally destroys your organs, causes ulcers, causes your kidneys and things to shut down and fail. That's why so many of our people have high blood pressure and all kinds of medical conditions that come from failing organs. You understand? Stress causes these things, and a wicked woman causes these things. Some evil woman yelling and hollering and growling. You understand? Just short-tempered, just absolute dragon, which is what the scriptures equate her to. You understand? So, all right, come on, keep reading, brother.
Verse 17. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face.
The wickedness of a woman changes her face. That's something very important. You have to, you'll be able to see it. To most brothers in the world, it looks like something that is beautiful. Once you come into the truth, you'll know what that look looks like. It's an actual demon, very proud, a very arrogant look, a very, she destroys men's lives. There are certain women that just prey on men in their ignorance and their lust, and they destroy them. You understand? And they are very important. That's why it's written about here in the Bible. They have great power and authority here in America. They are extreme danger to brothers. They're extreme danger to sisters as well. Because they young sisters. Some interviews circulating around on the internet. Some little girl, some teacher that's explaining she's teaching like 6th grade or something like that. The little girl is asking her about marriage, something what you want to be, and she says, what do you want to do? You get married, something to the effect of that. And she was like, well, I don't want to get married. If I get married, I can't collect child support. She was like, well, what about your husband? Don't you want to be in a loving relationship with your husband? And that she said, no, I don't want to get married because he probably going to be in jail or on drugs or something like that. Like in her mind, this is gold. This is where I see myself down the future. This is a baby now. He's 6th grade, something like that, 12, 10, 11, however old 6th graders are. But this is what is in her mind because this is the spirit of this place. You understand? And without righteous men of the Lord to stand in the gap, as the scriptures have said that we've read before, this is the important thing that a father is teaching to his son. You understand? Not only so his son can be in danger, but also his son can raise up new generations of sons and daughters that are not this way, that are against this evil, that are setting things the correct way right again, and here in the ISUPK, set things back in their proper and right order. All right. So, young man Darnell, hold. I want you, brother, this read. Stay where you are, young man Darnell. Take me to Ecclesiasticus, the 36th chapter, and verse 21. Start at verse 20. All right. 22nd chapter, verse 21. All right, got it. But don't forget 26 and 31. I want the brother to read the scripture I got you read, young man Kenny. Just continue where you are. All right.
Another one time. Okay. Verse 17. And darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth.
Like I'm getting a lot of feedback from somebody. Everybody just make sure that your computers are on mute or whatever you got going on. Make sure it's not me. Still getting a lot of feedback from somebody. Just make sure your computers are on mute. That you're listening from. You're actually listening from like through me hearing through the broadcast. You're not like watching on YouTube or something. Everybody just make sure you hit that like button. Everybody hit the likes, hit the thumbs up. Y'all watching on YouTube. Make sure we got tons of people in the class. Make sure we get tons of those thumbs up so that more brothers and sisters can come in. Like this is just a sidebar. This is an amazing working thing. Don't take it for a light thing that you are sitting in these ISUPK classes. You understand? The amount of demons that it takes to fight just to dial the phone number, let alone to leave your name and voice on a recording and to answer the phone when we call back or message you back. It takes a great amount of battling and fighting demons just to answer the phone call to speak to one of us here doing the work of the Lord, let alone to actually make it in class and to sign your name into class and be in these classes consistently for attendance. There are a tremendous amount of forces and demons that you have to fight just to be in these classes, just to make a phone call to contact the school about them, that the vast majority of our brothers and sisters cannot and will not. You understand? So don't take it as a light thing that you end up hearing these classes. Don't take it as a light thing that you're able to hear and learn this level of wisdom and things that actually come from the God that created heaven and earth and the prophets that he set up on the planet to instill this instruction to his people. You understand? All right. So just as that sidebar. Is anyone else giving the feedback that I'm hearing? It could just be me. If not, don't sweat it. But is anybody else hearing any feedback? Y'all just type in if you are. If not, y'all not hearing it. I mean, Darnell, nobody. You hearing it? If you are, you live. Okay, I heard you, young man Kenny. I'm asking young man Darnell. I'm looking at you. Can you hear me or live? I hear the feedback. Okay, somebody else hears the feedback. Okay, some brothers hear it, some brothers don't hear it. Okay, you hear the feedback also. Okay. All right. Is anybody else? Everybody in here, if y'all can just type in. Now we're gonna keep going. All right, the hell with it. Keep going. All right. Go ahead and finish what you're reading, brother.
Out of 1 verse 17. And darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth.
It darkens her countenance. It darkens her face. You can see it. You understand? There's an old movie. It's a movie with Tom Cruise or something. I believe it's called The Firm. Movie from the 90s or something like that, where there's a scene in the movie. If anybody's ever seen that movie, you'll recall. It's a very long movie. I believe it's got Al Pacino's in there, and the firm is supposedly run by demons. And there's some woman that's in there, and there's a scene in there. She's talking, and they talking about how they just got breast jobs or implants or something, and then they turn around, and he looking at her face, and her face go from a woman to like an actual demon for a few seconds. Okay, everybody get feedback. Okay, all right. Everybody on mute. What's going on here? Okay, yeah, man, Kenny, you got something in your. Let me see. Okay, it's something that's going on with your sound, something there. All right. I don't know if it's something else going on, but that's the feedback is coming from, I believe. I'm not sure if it's where the phone is positioned, but everybody's hearing the feedback. I'm hearing it myself as well. I tell you what, go ahead and finish reading the scripture you all, then we're gonna get young man Darnell to read. We can just get you on mute. All right. So y'all just finish that. Okay. The microphone to get a little bit louder. You seem like a little far away.
That was it on that.
Okay, that's it on that.
Tom.
Okay, what was the last verse that you read?
Verse 17.
All right,
chapter 25.
All right, no, I'll tell you what, just for the sake, because everybody don't want to hear this feedback. Don't sweat it. I'm gonna go to the scriptures. I got young man Darnell doing. You just hang tight there, warrior. All right. Hey, Tawada, good job, warrior. Good reading. You understand? Most High in Christ. All right, young man Darnell, go ahead and pick it up from the scripture that I got you reading in Ecclesiasticus chapter 36, and from where I started you from. Go ahead and start from there. Should be 21.
Okay.
All right.
Ecclesiasticus 36, verse 21. A woman will receive every man.
Right. That's something here that's important in the scriptures. The Bible says a woman will receive every man. That does not mean that a woman is literally with every single man, but a woman will receive every man means this, that there are different types of men. There's a man that's a kind and loving man. There's a man that's a murderer. There's a man that'll beat the hell out of you and steal money out of your purse. There's a man that will help you and make you better. There's a man that'll make you worse. There's a man that will increase your life. There's a man that will destroy your life. There's a man that you will get with and think he really likes you. But in reality, this man wants his eyebrows done more than you want yours done. He like his nails to be brighter, shinier, straighter, and longer than your nails. You understand? He like his skin clearer than your skin. He like to be prettier than you like to be pretty. Like Dwayne Wade been in competition with Gabrielle Union forever for who gonna be the baddest broad in the relationship. You understand? Like a woman will receive every type of man. There's no type of man that a woman will not receive. Now, again, this is not talking about every sister, but a woman in general is going to receive every man. You understand? And that is why it's so important for a father to filter and decide what type of man is to be around his woman, his children. You understand? I hear it on mute. Okay, son. The water. The brother said Devil's Advocate. That's the name of the movie, Devil's Advocate. Exactly. All right. But a woman will receive every man. There's different type of men. There's some women that's with a man, and this man is an absolute homosexual. And she will find the brother that's literally a man that does not like women. This is a man that wants to be a woman, and everybody can tell when they see this. This man, the way he laughed, the way he walked, the way his wrist is always bent, the way he talked, in her mind, this is her man. She loves him. But anyone can see this cat is obviously a sodomite. He's got more sugar in him than a damn honey bun. A woman will receive every man. That's what the scripture is saying. So keep going.
Yet is one daughter better than another.
Yet is one daughter better than another. Why is he saying this? He's telling a father that's explaining. You might have one daughter that listens. She's there. You tell her come, she's coming. You tell her listen, she listens. She's obeying what you say. Then you got what's known as the rebel. She don't want to do what you want. She want to go out when you say it's not time to go out. She want to change the outfit that you said she could not wear. She want to put it in her bag and go change at her friend's house so that she can wear her hot girl summer outfit because you told her, I don't want you wearing that. Showing off your body, showing off your tail, showing off your breasts. I don't want you with those friends. I don't want you around those. It's very wise. You understand? There are some friends that are absolutely destructive, not only for your daughters, but for your wife. You understand? There's some terrible friends because sisters in general, not all sisters, but many sisters do not see how negatively that other women have effects on them. Most of the sisters that relationships get ruined come from some other single, lonely friend that is used to just running through men like you run through a damn grocery store every week. And she see you healthy, happy, prosperous, with some actual authority, guidance, and instruction over you. And in your mind, her friendship is, see, the restriction on you shines negatively on her life as living as a whore. You understand? I don't know why sisters like to be friends with her so that she can come and tell you how this man is no good. You can do better. This brother ain't doing this and that. You know, you tied down. You're supposed to be grown and all of these things. That is literally only there to sabotage your relationships. For many sisters, that is her mother. Many cases, it's your mother. Sometimes it's some aunt, some other sister, some relative, some best friend. You understand? You hear lots of talk about it now on lots of brothers that's talking about the things the ISUPK has been saying forever, that they try to sue us and take us to court for. But in reality, everyone is saying what we've been saying now. Andrew Tate is saying a lot of it. Of course, they're not in the truth, and we don't, get down with whatever they're saying. But many of the points that we've been saying forever that the scriptures are saying, you hear different people saying pieces of it. All right. So keep going.
Ecclesiasticus 36, verse 22. The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance.
The beauty of a woman cheereth the countenance. Your countenance is your face. Your face, your facial expressions. A beautiful woman, the beauty of a woman can cheer up the countenance. You understand? Her beauty makes her beautiful. You understand? A lot of things can make a woman beautiful. That's why the Lord makes sisters beautiful. You understand? The Lord, of course, gives every nation their own women, but our nation has the best women. The Black, Hispanic, Native American woman is the baddest woman on the face of the earth. The best. You understand? That's the one that the Lord gave us. 12 tribes to choose from. You understand? So this is what the Bible is talking about. A woman's beauty cheers up a man. Her smile, however she carries herself, her hips, her curves, whatever she has, what she brings, her presence. A woman's presence of an actual feminine woman can completely change the day. It can change everything. You understand? That's why it's so important what this father is getting ready to explain to his son about having a daughter. You understand? About more, and even specifically about choosing who his son will start and make a daughter with. So keep going.
And a man loveth nothing better.
A man don't love nothing more than a woman. A beautiful woman, sure, you understand, the voice, and got the nice, you understand, Southern accent or Caribbean accent or New Orleans accent or Memphis accent, you understand, whatever, Mexican, Puerto Rican accent, however she talk, nice and sweet. You want something? How was your day, baby? Good afternoon. You understand? How you doing? Rubbing your back, massage your hair, whatever she doing, you understand? Making your favorite dish, all those things. A woman can literally make life absolutely wonderful. You understand? She can give you the strength to go on when something is hard. She can also take away your strength and make you destroy yourself when things are hard as well. You understand? She can make you stronger or make you weak and destroy you. And these are important things to know. And as a sister, another woman can also destroy you. You understand? This is something very important to look out for. So keep going.
Ecclesiasticus 36, verse 23. If there be kindness, meekness, and comfort in her tongue.
In her tongue, meaning if she says kind things, meek things was humble things. Not you don't own me, you don't tell me what to do. What you need to do is this. You need to be doing that. You ain't no real man, nigga. My last man did this and all of this and that. You understand? Well, she got meekness and kindness in her. Well, I tell you what, I know you like this and this, but they was out of it. So I got you this and I got you that. I know this is your favorite. So I went and picked you up some. You're like, damn, baby, you thinking of me? Okay, all right. I appreciate that. Brothers start smiling. Everybody know what that feel like. Brothers smiling. This how you doing? Say, good. How was your day? You all right? Why don't you come on over here? Come here. Give me some shit. Give me a hug. Me amor, come here. Papi, do this and that. Brothers, all right, I'm going home. Then you got some women, you sitting outside in the car just like, damn, I don't want to go in here. I don't want to go in here, man. Damn. I do not want to go in here. You outside looking, you hear the noise. She in there with her friends making a bunch of goddamn noise. And this and this and that and that and that and that and this and that. And that, man, I tell you, it B-I-T-C-H this and B-I that and B-B-B. It's like, damn, I don't want to go in here. How can I get out of this? Damn, let me go back to work. Let me do something. We sit at the desk. There's a bunch of brothers sitting in the parking lot like, man, let me go to the bar. Let me not come home till 3 o'clock in the morning so I can just, hopefully like, damn. Just like there's a different kind of woman. Like this is the type of woman it's talking about because this is how you're going to raise a daughter to be. You understand? Brothers over a woman will kill everybody in the neighborhood and the community. Or a woman can say, well, listen, you ain't got to do that. We better than that. You ain't got to do that. It ain't even that important. Let's just go. Come on, let's go. It's okay. I understand. Forget him. F him. Let's go. We ain't got to do. Come on. Let's just go. Just this and that and that. There's a certain time and a place for everything. You understand? There's a right time and a place for everything. The Bible does not allow a woman to teach and to take authority. But there are many times when a woman has a very powerful tool that the Lord gave. It's one of the most powerful things on the entire planet is femininity. You understand? That ability to be feminine is very important. It's extremely important that in the right spirit, it can literally make supermen. They tell a woman to murder and abort her babies. Guess what? Mary was a young sister that was pregnant with a child. Imagine who Mary would have aborted. You understand? Pharaoh told the Hebrew midwives in Egypt to kill off all of their babies if they be a male son. They told them to murder that baby, which is it's the same as abortion. It's an extreme late-term abortion. One of the governors in Virginia wanted to go for it. I think they shot him down for it. They're saying if the baby come out, I'm not opposed to, the baby come out and it's born, and then you just want to call it abortion and, stick a 38 to the baby's head and say, oh, it's abortion. You understand? Like, this the type of cruelty, and this is what the Egyptians wanted us to do. Well, the sisters in their right spirit of femininity say, I ain't killing no baby. You got to be out your mind. We ain't doing this. To the point where the Egyptians had to come and kill our babies, and look what baby got delivered. That was Moses. Look what Moses did with his life. You understand? All right. So these are things that the Lord wants to have in our people's mind. When the Bible talks about being sober and temperate, to be paying attention, these are the things that the Lord wants in our people's mind. So keep going.
Then is not her husband like other men.
Her husband is not like other men. Why? Because he got himself a sweet, kind, and loving wife. Every man don't have that. You understand? That's why I said one daughter better than another. That's why we got laws in the Bible that say if he take him another wife and one beloved and one hated, we got rules here. Everybody don't find that one, but it's still permanent. You understand? Like, this is what the Lord is explaining, and this is why he's teaching this to his sons. Keep going.
Ecclesiasticus 36, verse 24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession.
He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession. What does that mean? He beginneth a possession. You understand? Man, like his woman, this is his possession. You have very important laws and rules on the things that you possess, that you are in charge of. You understand? He get a wife, this is his possession. She belongs to him. It is not vice versa. The man is not the possession. It's not equality here. Son and the daughter are not equal. The man and the woman are not equal. The husband and wife are not equal. This woman cannot leave her man to go and get another woman. Cannot leave her man to go and get another man. This man cannot leave his wife, but he can get other wives if he wants to. You understand? That's why this is a very important thing. That's why the rest of what the scriptures are saying are important as well. Now, don't nobody just run out and go get another woman just because you can, because you step into all kind of traps and problems and things that the majority of our people do, unaware of these rules and guidelines that the Lord has, let alone the wisdom that this brother is trying to teach his son. You understand? Keep going.
A help like unto himself.
A help like unto himself. She is a help. This is a woman's job to help to add to that man. To add to that man. This is a permanent part of you that is going to help and add to build you up. You understand? Like, that is the type of woman that you're looking for. This is the woman that is in the scriptures. This is what's being described as a godly woman. She's building you up. You understand? That garbage that you was eating before you got married, unless you were a chef or unless your mother is still alive that's making you meals, or grandma is still alive. You understand? If anybody still got grandma making home-cooked meals, if you got a wife that still cooks home-cooked meals, Most High in Christ. The majority of our people are eating carry-out. They're eating Grubhub and Uber Eats and Checkers and McDonald's and Burger King, and wings and fries and lo mein and egg rolls. That's what most of our people are eating, because the foundation of having a family, you got to be able to feed that family, which is an important thing. That's why when it talks in Titus, that's why I'm going to keep going back to Titus, the 2nd chapter, when it talks about the aged woman teaching the younger woman to be sober, to be temperate, to be chaste, to keep us at home, because the house needs to eat. Nobody's ever going to come home in that house if there's never any food ready. Nobody want to come home to a dirty house. This woman in there watching soap operas all day. She won't vacuum. She won't pick up the socks. She ain't washing clothes. She ain't folding towels. The house smell like PetSmart. You understand? She ain't cleaning nothing. Ain't no good, sweet smell nowhere. Who the hell wants to come home to this? See, sisters online sometimes that's just advertising tell they got a blow-up mattress with socks everywhere in pizza boxes. You understand? Like, this is a spirit that this brother is being taught to correct, to get that out of your spirit. And in the Bible, we have laws about keeping things clean. Clean your goddamn house. Don't have your house be dirty. Don't leave socks everywhere, dishes all in the sink, roaches and mice piling up everywhere. That is not our culture. Sitting around being dirty, clothes ain't washed, stuff. That's not our culture. Our culture is wearing oil. Anoint thyself with oil. Smell good. The Lord like frankincense and myrrh because it smells good. You understand? That's our culture. It's not Arabs' culture to wear oil and perfume and incense. That's not their culture. That's Israelite culture. Having different changes of clothes, all kind of garments and studs. That's why you go into brother house in the hood. He got 100 pair of shoes, 1,000 pair of drawers, 2,500 outfits, an empty refrigerator, half a bottle of water, some Cheerios on top, maybe a half a pack of hot dogs or something. Because our people, by spirit and nature, we are a very royal people. That's why if we get time, we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 4 and 1, and we finish this up in time. All right. So keep going.
And a pillar of rest.
A pillar of rest, meaning she's going to make comfort to this brother. A pillar of rest. Some places brother can get comfort. It's a comfort in things. He's fighting the world. He's fighting the police. He's fighting his job. He's fighting everyone that hates him. The other brothers in the neighborhood hate him. That's why everybody's shooting each other, fighting him, trying to take his car, trying to take his job, trying to take his kids away, trying to take everything from him, his masculinity, make him weak under his woman, weak under the job, want him to get rid of that beard, get rid of his hair, take the bass out his voice, not be so masculine, not be so assertive. They want to weaken and neuter a man at every chance they get. That's what the LGBT community is about. That's what the police is about. That's what the courts are for. That's what child support is for. Domestic court. That's what alimony is for. All of these things are to weaken you from being stronger so that you don't go beyond the bounds that society has set up for you. Chiefly, another one of those things is the Christian church telling a brother that he cannot have more than one woman. It's also to weaken a man so that he does not get too strong. You understand? All of that was created by our oppressor. All right, so keep going.
Ecclesiasticus 36, verse 25. Where no hedge is.
Where there's no hedge, where there's no garden. I mean, there's no boundaries. That's what a hedge is. Something that can tell you this is as far as you can go. Well, you know, we can't wear this. Why? Because it shows off too much tail. You can't wear that. Well, this is a nice dress in that, but you got breasts in that dress, and you can't show that to the whole world. That's unacceptable. You can't wear that. That's the hedge. That's as far as you can go versus now, this is come outside with a bra, call it a shirt. You understand? Like where there's no hedge, keep going.
There the possession is spoiled.
There the possession is spoiled. You understand? The possession is spoiled. Before Megan Thee Stallion went and became who she was a regular sister, dragging regular, going to school, getting a degree, her education, but there was no boundaries on her. Next thing you know, she hot girl summer, her tail is everywhere. You understand? Her and Cardi B is doing scissors at the goddamn Negro Award show, kissing each other, talking about they wop, wop, wop. Where there's no hedge, the possession is spoiled. That sister is married. Cardi B naked behind is on the cover of everything. She got a baby in a diaper that's wearing more clothes than her mother is in a damn slingshot bikini all on the internet. But she don't want her daughter listening to the songs about her talking about I don't cook, I don't clean, my box, my box, my box. But she will sell that nonsense to your daughter. And this is exactly what the Lord wants brothers to be aware of. And other sisters, you understand? So this is where there's no possession. Now she's a married sister. Now imagine, how is her husband supposed to get any kind of respect? Everybody on the planet is looking at your woman's naked behind everywhere. She had an award show, her whole naked behind out. And she pregnant. Your baby, she pregnant on stage, twerking with the damn backup dancers. You understand? Like that's what the scriptures is talking about. This should not be, and without this, young sisters would not see this and aspire to be it. Older sisters would not allow it and accept it. And an aged woman would teach a younger woman that this is unacceptable because there's a boundary. The other cultures of women, they have a boundary where this is not acceptable. That is why, even though they have different areas and parts of their societies, this is a level of respect that their women are automatically going to get. because of how their people govern their society and what they look like to the world, which is another thing that the Lord had is important. You understand? So keep going.
And he that have no wife will wander up and down mourning.
He that don't have a wife, he's everywhere. He's just wandering up and down, mourning. Why is he in mourning and sadness? Because the beauty of a woman cheereth up and make a happy countenance. Is he in mourning and sadness? Now, not every brother is sad that he don't have a woman. You understand? But there are plenty of brothers that are sad because they do not have a good woman. Our people is lives and everything is destroyed amongst our people, which is not every single brother and sister. You understand? But this is something that has gone on with our nation that we are fighting to repair so that none of our people end up like this. All right. All right. Let's see. No house, lodge, or whatsoever to thief will trust. Like, let me see. So who will believe in me? All right. Go ahead. Give me verse 26.
Ecclesiasticus 36, verse 26.
Mm-hmm.
Who will trust a thief well appointed?
Who would trust a thief that has a job? They've been appointed to do something. Nobody would trust someone like that. Keep going.
That skippeth from city to city.
Someone is going from city to city. He's going everywhere. Who can trust this person? He's not stable anywhere. Why is he not stable anywhere? At this time, our people, our nation is destroyed, just like now. And before, brothers had all the resources and everything. Everything was in place. The kids went to school. We were making inventions and businesses. Many of the inventions that we have are the last bit of what was left from our people being segregated. That's when a lot of these inventions were made. And less were made that directly impacted and benefited our people as a race after we desegregated. We got less creative. Our music became less creative, less soulful. Our dances became less creative, less meaningful, less impactful. Our culture and everything as a people, we became watered down. We became so watered down as a people that other nations of people now were able to imitate what we were doing. And because we co-signed it, that made them acceptable. You understand? They wanted to rap black, talk black, act black, dance black, sing black, and black people embraced it. That made them acceptable. Same thing happened with Islam. People have been fighting against Islam for centuries. But once the Nation of Islam came and made it worldwide and popular, made movies about it, now Islam is a wonderful thing. Anywhere else you go, the stories of Arabs sawing heads off on the goddamn beach. Because that's really what it is. Same thing with Christianity. Until you got people singing them gospel songs, and that's where all your R&B singers, your old R&B singers used to come from. That made everything glamorous and wonderful, like Rastafarianism. You understand? That's not no big, glamorous, wonderful thing in India, but it is a portion of the Indians' culture. Of course, when the Benjamites got a hold to it, Rastafari and Jah this and Haile Selassie that. Haile Selassie was a traitor to his own people. And he died. And he sided with the British. He was not a hero for Ethiopians. But our people who are not Ethiopians, even though Rastafarianism comes from India and not Ethiopia, that's where you get your dreadlocks from, champion that culture to make it something great, to where everybody is looking at this around the world, when before that everybody hated it because it just encouraged the people to be horrible, lazy drug addicts, which now this thing is spread amongst our people like the Lord has been against that. All right. So go ahead and finish the rest of this verse here, brother.
So who will believe a man that have no house, and lodgeth whereversoever the night taketh him?
Right. You see that comment there? Just pause for a moment to break that down. Anywhere you see the commas or any of those, that's very important. He's asking a question. Who will believe of the man that have no house? And that's why I said the previous scripture, he that have no wife will wander up and down mourning, because our nation has been destroyed and we've been under siege after siege. And now where it was the men owned everything. They had the land and the houses, the properties, controlled the city, the animals, the resources, because these were things that was important to a man. You understand? The heritage that was passed down, not getting rid of the land, not getting rid of these. That's why you were filling the land with sons and daughters, and making houses, making cities, establishing businesses. The more and more we joined ourselves to our oppressor, building up our society was less important because we're a part of America. See, there's the White House. See, there's the police station. See, that's the court building. That's our presidents, our founding fathers, our constitution, our mayor, our this, our that. And instead of, as we joined into their system, we stopped building what was for us, and now we don't have it anymore. And because of that, our sisters ended up with the power and the authority, because every empire will empower a woman over a man, because that is how you destroy those people. You put the woman in charge. Everybody knows that. It's a war tactic. And now that she has the house, if you don't have a wife, when you have the woman with all the power and the authority, chances are that if you are a man, that your land, your glory, your reputation, your everything has been taken from you. If you don't have a wife, you will be wandering from place to place without a place to stay, because the home that you were supposed to have, the Chinese own it. The Arabs own it. It's an investment property. They flipped the house that you were supposed to get, and now your entire city has been gentrified and you are homeless. Like, that's what the scriptures are talking about. And it has always been this way as long as we join the other nations of people. All right. So go ahead and finish the verse you were reading there, brother. Please.
And lodgeth wheresoever the night taketh him.
Wherever the night takes him, he just go there. If he end up here at night, this is where I'm staying. I just need a place. I just need a room. Like, it's not supposed to be like that. But the previous things that we talked about end up making it like this. Just imagine if young man Darnell and young man Kenny, just imagine that you didn't just fall out the sky. You had a father. Your father had a father. Just imagine if just in the city, in the areas that's close to, let's just use Norfolk, for example. Most of the brothers and sisters in the class are in the Norfolk area. Let's use Norfolk, for example. Let's say that your father, great-great-granddaddy, let's use a very common black name, Daddy Jackson. Call him Papa Jackson. About 4 generations ago, Papa Jackson got out Esau's military, which we are not supposed to do. He got money from fighting in some war, started some small business somewhere, able to get land dirt cheap, probably $50 for an acre, something crazy like that. You understand? Hooked up with a couple of other buddies from the service. And next thing you know, they build 2 or 3 houses. Over the years, they make the house bigger. They get heating, plumbing, electrical work. Brothers, all of these skills and things that brothers in the school do. Next thing you know, he got a couple of acres of land. Over the years, he gone, he have a son. That son has multiple kids. Next thing you know, where it was just one brother with maybe 10, 20 acres of land, now you might have in a few generations with the kids and the uncles and the cousins and the other brothers that you done hooked up with, that you was in the service with. Next thing you know, y'all put your money together. We got about 100 acres between about 40, 50 people. You got water, you got land, you got houses. By the time it gets to you, there's a full-fledged town, if not a small city, that has been developed just of these few brothers. That's exactly how it was before we went into Egypt. That's exactly how it was when Joseph told us to go into Egypt. So now by the time it gets to you, you have homes that are already built, that brothers already made, that they just gonna die and leave to you. You got land that's already built. You got a system of things. Like, we are not supposed to be born starting from zero, which is what ends up happening because of integration, because we sinned against the Most High and joined a system that the Chinese did not join when they came to America. The Arabs did not join when they came to America. The Africans have not joined. The different white men that came from Europe, they did not join. That's why they hated the Italians. That's why the Italians bought the damn mafia. They had their own society because they were not being assimilated into America, even though they themselves were white men. Like, these are things that the Lord has been trying to teach us, because we kept finding ourselves in captivity generation after generation after generation. So now, when your sons go to take a wife, you got entire cities and things that are built. That's how Richmond became a city where thousands of people live now. That's how Norfolk became a city. That's how Chesapeake and Portsmouth and Dinwiddie and Franklin. These things come after some brother who started a family. The family gets bigger. Things get built in that city. People come and settle there before you know it. It is its own functioning society and government. You understand? This is exactly how it was in the Bible. That's exactly what we rebuilding in, with laws and rules and things that get passed down all throughout the family. And those fathers determine what goes on in those cities and those communities. We got one, we're going to get it just a little bit longer. We got one more scripture in Ecclesiasticus chapter, Salaki, in Isaiah. I want the same brother to read Isaiah chapter 4 and verse, it's going to start at 4 and 1, but it might be something at the end of verse chapter 3. Let me just take it. Go to Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1.
Khan out of Khan.
Shalaki. Let's say that. Don't read it yet. Let me see. Shalaki. Shall come to pass. This was a curse that came on our people. All right, that men shall fall by the sword, and gates shall want to be desolate. Ancients of thy people. That's too much here to show that. All right, we might start here the next time. But just read Isaiah chapter 4 and verse 1. We're gonna start in Isaiah the 3rd chapter next week.
Khan out of Khan. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man.
Like this is what the scriptures are saying in that day. 7 women shall take hold of one man. Between murder, between cancer, between abortion, between prison, between the LGBT community and the police and high blood pressure and COVID and cancer, everything else. Like our nation, contrary to popular belief, we are decreasing at a far greater rate than we are multiplying ourselves. You understand? The vast majority of our people are not multiplying themselves. Our families are getting smaller and smaller. We are having less children and more abortions. You understand? All right. We are not replenishing our numbers for the amount of us that are dying. All right. So keep going.
Saying, we will eat our own bread.
I got my own food. You understand? Keep going.
And wear our own apparel.
I got my own clothes. I don't need you for food. Before, a man provided the food and the clothes for his woman. I don't need that. I got my own house, got my own car, 2 jobs, work hard. She a bad broad. You understand? Webby made a song, Independent. Now Glorilla made a song, said that she's F Negro free. You understand? I got my own house, my own this. I got my bread. I got my clothes. Keep going.
Only let us be called by thy name.
Let us be called by your name. Let us be your wives. Let us build you up so that you can provide something for me that my house and my this and my possessions cannot do for me. And that is the wisdom and the leading and guidance that every sister so very desperately needs. You understand? Especially as this evil empire collapses and falls more and more. Y'all understand? All right. So with that, all right, we're going to go ahead and hit it here. All right, Most High in Christ, clap it up. I see you, brother. Your feed was going out. That's probably what that feedback that we was getting in. Don't sweat it. All right, let's get these up here. All right, Most High in Christ. Bear with me just a second. Y'all keep coming to class. Y'all signing for attendance, Most High in Christ. I don't know why it's not in that coming up. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Con, no sweat, brother. I got you for attendance there. Just make sure you sign in. You are T.Y. All right, I got you good. All right. There we go. There we go, Most High in Christ. All right, just me up here. Got you. Wait with me just a moment. We'll get up out of here. All right. Come. All right, ISUPK security announcements. We the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge. We start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. All right, we're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Rule for new brother and sister. When a brother and sister comes to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. It'll be saluted only. They're here to learn and share themselves of the world. If a brother and sister has a particular, you understand, so like it. It'll be saluted only. They're here to learn and share themselves of the world. That's important. That's an important period in time frame. Brothers and sisters coming to the school, learn the laws, learn the rules. Just come and learn. That's all you do. Just come and learn. Like I always say, don't make no major decisions. You got any major purchases or something, you can avoid it. Don't go out and get married to nobody. Don't make no major decisions. Just come and learn before you start making decisions and things. This is what the Lord wants. There's a lot of things that our people decide and do that they need counsel on, that had they gotten the proper counsel from the Most High before they made some horrible decision or made some decision that seemed like a good idea at the time, they would definitely come to regret it later on in their life, if not very soon. You understand? All right. Select. Let me see that. All right. To be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. You understand? If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After the 6-month period, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. You're actually in the school, you get permission to speak to a brother or sister by reaching out to your camp leader. You understand? That's how that is done. Make sure that if you're watching classes online and you are in a different city or state, contact the school in whatever city or state that is nearest to you so you can actually get in the school. Get your Hebrew name if you want to become a brother or sister in the school. Make sure that you do that. Don't just watch classes online, even though as a student, you're welcome to watch classes wherever, but make sure that you are in communication with that school because this empire is going to fall. It's steadily falling every day. All right. All right. So after that 6-month period, there's another 6-month period. The brother and sister will get permission to court. After that 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment from the Most High. Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10, means 10th in the Hebrew, ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives to the school, give to the Treasury Department. You just go right to ISUPK.com. We got a brand new website. You can make an account, put your information in, subscribe, get to see your favorite videos, your classes. We'll never lose our videos or anything on the ISUPK website. If you've not gone there, check it out, isupk.org. You understand? New website, pay your tithes, pay for your Passover, get all your information and things there. Brand new website. Everybody make sure that you check it out, all right? There you go. All right, just put that link in there. All right. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocations, the high holy days. The next one we got coming up is Purim. That's going to be in March, I believe the 5th and the 6th Purim. We remember what that sister Esther did to keep us from being killed by our enemies. You understand? They wanted to completely wipe out the entire nation, and this sister chose her people over herself. You understand? Even if it meant at the cost of her life, this was a down sister that did something very righteous and honorable for our entire nation under the instruction of her uncle that raised her, Mordecai. Very important story. Of course, we're going to get into all of that at that time. After that, we also got the Passover coming up April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Everyone should already got all your things booked, your flights, your travel. Make sure you pay your Passover fund. $200 for every brother, sister, everyone that's over the age of 17. Make sure you pay your Passover fund. You can do that right on the ISUPK website. Get your tickets. You booked everything. Your Passover ticket also pays for the all-black party. That's your entrance in there as well. It's a full week of events. That whole thing from the lamb slaughter, the Passover, the children's party. Make sure you register your children if they planning to be there for the children's party. The all-black party, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, will be the following night, sundown from the Passover, which would be April the 2nd. All right. And lastly, if any brother wants to become a trooper in the school, there to be in all black. Black boots, shirt, pants, headband, war scarf, being your all black. You understand? And with that, Ahmadium, which means to stand, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the brothers, men of Israel, Ahmad Shabbat, Ahmadium, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Barakatham. Sar means to turn, sisters. Ahmadium means to stand. One courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel. Ahmadium Shabbat, Ahmadium, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alathan, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Yadim Matal, which means hands down. And with that, class dismissed. All right. With that, shalom, Maki. The water y'all coming in, tuning in, Most High in Christ. Be sure to pay your tithes, like, share, subscribe. The water, y'all. Stay strong.